Hello guys, this is Code and Code, and this is fourth lecture of Spring Boot backend service. In this course, we are going to build backend service using Spring Boot for a restaurant app, right? And in this lecture, we are going to learn about MVC architecture and how Spring Boot provides support for it. So we'll start the lecture with the MVC architecture introduction. We'll learn what are its components, and then of course we'll see how Spring Boot provides support for MVC architecture, right? So let's see. So as the name suggests, MVC stands for Model View and Controller. So MVC is architecture and it is a design pattern used in software development to separate an application into three interconnected components basically to support the separation of concerns basically. So the three components we divide the whole architecture or software into are model, view and controller, right? So each of which have their own responsibilities. So let's see what a component is and what is its responsibility. So we'll start with the model. So model represents data and business logic. To make it easier for you to understand, so anything that is related to data and any operation that you perform on it is a model, right? So data, basically the data classes that you define, entities and all, everything that is your model. Any repository that you define that helps you interact with the database, again it has to do with the data, right? That too falls into the category of model. So data and any operation that you perform on the data before sending it back to the client or to the view, right? It's part of the model, and so basically represent data and business logic and responsible for managing data rules, interaction with the database or other data sources, as simple as that. Then we have view. View is on the user side, right? So view is basically our UI, the user interface. So view represents the user interface of the application, displays data from the model to the user, right? So view needs data to show anything on the screen, right? And who's responsible for managing the data? Of course, the model. So that is why it displays the data from the model to the user, right? And then sends the user action to the controller. So the thing is that model and view, both of them do not interact with each other directly. There is a mediator, and that is your controller. So controller acts as an intermediary between the model and the view, right? These two talk to each other, but not directly. They talk to each other through the controller. So any data that view needs, it would send a request to the controller. Controller would then pass on the request to the appropriate function in the model, and then model will prepare the data, send it back to the controller, and controller will send back the data to the view, right? So this is how the interaction goes between these three components. These two don't talk to each other directly, and the controller is the one which does the job of passing on the message to and from view and a model. Then what it does, it acts as intermediary between the model and the view, handles user input, processes requests, and updates the model, right? And decides which view to display based on the application's logic. Yes, you will define here in the controller that to what response you need to send back to the view, right? So these are three main components of MVC architecture. Data and its related business logic is model. View is what user sees, basically user interface. And then we have controller, which does the job of intermediary between view and model so that we get the flexibility of building model and view independent of each other, right? So you can make changes in the model without any code changes required in the view section, right? So it supports basically flexibility. Now that we know what is MVC architecture, let's learn how Spring Boot provides support for MVC architecture, right? So let's see for each component, what is the support provided by Spring Boot. So first let's talk about model. So model is what? Your data and its related business logic, right? So if you see here, Spring Boot provides you at the service annotation. So you can define a class which basically where you basically define the business logic, and then you can annotate the class with at the service. That will let the other people know that this is a service class, and basically it contains the business logic that you're going to perform on the data, right? Then we have at the repository, or specifically we'll be using JPA repository in our case. So using this annotation, you can define repository classes, right, which helps you interact with the database, as we have seen in the previous lectures, right? And then we have at the entity, which is provided by data JPA, Spring Data JPA. Spring Data JPA internally uses JPA, which provides at the entity, and this is used to define entity classes. Entity classes are nothing but basically tables in the database, right? And we have also seen this in action in last lecture, right? So for the model component, Spring Boot provides these three annotations: service, repository, and entity. Then comes to controller, right? You can define controllers in Spring Boot and using at the REST controller or at the controller. At the REST controller is specialized controller that is used to build RESTful services. And in our case, of course, we are going to build REST endpoints, so we'll be using REST controller. Right? It helps you define the controller. So we have support for model, we have support for controller in Spring Boot, and of course for view. See, since we are only building a backend service that is RESTful. That means we are only going to send back the result as HTTP response, right? So now here in our whole application, or specifically in REST applications, we don't have view part, right? So in our REST applications, the view is basically how you send back the data to the client. And how do we send it? We send it as either XML or as JSON, right? So that will be the view part for us for backend services, backend RESTful services, right? So in our case, it would be either JSON or XML. And who does the job of converting back the result into either JSON or XML? Of course, Spring Boot does it using Jackson library, right? And any function that you define in controller, which is responsive, which will be called if certain endpoint is called, right? You can annotate that function with at the response body. So what Spring Boot will do using this annotation will convert the response of that function from controller into a HTTP response, right? Basically, what it does, it serializes return value from the method means a method from the controller, to JSON or XML, and send directly the response as HTTP response body. So whatever result is returned by any function that you defined in the controller, that result will be converted either into XML or JSON, by default JSON, right? If you want to override that, you can convert that to XML also. So it would convert the result back into JSON or XML and send the result as HTTP response body. So this is our support for Vue. Now, since we are building REST application, right, we'll be sending result back as HTTP response, of course. So you don't have to. So yeah, we'll be defining the controllers using at the rest controller. So when you are defining the result controller using at the rest controller, you don't have to define, you don't have to annotate anything with response body, because REST controller comes by default with response body, right? So you don't have to define it, but it is there. And I wanted you to know that, yeah, behind the scene, this is what is happening, right? So REST controller comes with at the response body, so you don't have to annotate any function with at the response body, because when you are working with REST application, Spring Boot assumes you will be sending back the result as a either as a JSON or an XML in terms of HTTP response, right? So you don't have to include this specifically. The REST controller comes with it, right? So yeah, this is MVC architecture, its component, and how Spring Boot provides support for MVC architecture, right? Theoretically, now we have covered every theory part that was needed for us to move forward in building the application, right? There's no more theory required. All right. So we are done with the theory part. Let's go ahead and start building the APIs. Starting from the next lecture, we'll start with the food item APIs, because those are basically the building blocks. Then we can build on the other APIs like users and other services, right? So yeah, this is it for this lecture. Thank you guys for watching, and till the next video drops, keep coding. Thank you.